Jay, for hosting. Thank you for co-feature with me. I'm a big fan of yours, and it's really an honor to be here. G.P.A. is a wonderful poet, and he's a great storyteller. So I thought that what I would do tonight, since I'm going 3 rounds with him, that I would try to read some stories myself. So these are my more story poems. This one is called Gabrielle in Arrears. It's 10:46 in Newark on New Year's Eve. You're rushing to the Ramada Ballroom for an evening of kisses, hors d'oeuvres, and darkened drinks. Someone honks. Unnerved, you swerve to the right, sideswipe a Buick, slide back across the lane, flip into a ditch. Dr. Carson warned you more than once about the consequences of being distracted. Well, it's too late to resuscitate advice now. You should be calling 911, waving at headlights, flagging down trucks, pulling your bleeding husband from the car. Instead, you're just staring at your hands, as if somehow they were imperious tools, capable of magic. And this one is called The Beautiful Mercedes. It's not about a car, it's about a woman. And it has allusions to a book that I really loved when I first read it, called The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Wonderful book. And one of the characters is a woman named Mercedes. Not this one. No one who saw the beautiful Mercedes in the summer of 1966 could ever forget her. When she walked into Café Danglars, heads turned. I was sent upstate for 2 years for passing unpopular checks. But when I got out, I went back to Café D just to get a glimpse of her again. It took a month, but she did return. I was there that day, sitting at the counter in my Bermuda shorts, sucking a 7-Up. The screen door opened. I was expecting the second coming of perfection. Not quite. She was bloated like a bagel. Her thighs looked like freezer bags filled with dimes. There was no necklace anywhere to fit around that neck. 2 years earlier, she was real money, a class investment. But when she ate up all her principal, well, we lost interest. It's called Julia. One day, she took a lover, a Quebecois mortician, who mollified her spirit as he mortified her flesh. She found her escape in a letter from her sclerotic brother, whose neurosis demanded companionship. She'd fly to Escondido to be his renewal. On her way to the airport, her cab was rear-ended by a bus. She suffered 3 broken bones. 6 months later, she was teaching theology to refugees from Est. Her brother was in rehab, his prognosis good. She felt healthy and happy. No clouds anywhere. Pseudosciensis does that. And this one is called Great Moments in Blindness. I am complicit in the darkness. It trails after me like the milky spoor of a mother skunk. I breathe it out in stumpy conversation I must have learned from television. Well, this lack of vision is my own fault. I should have known better than to circumcise my heart and bathe my eyes in witch hazel. I was already an adult when I stood in that cage with you. We bent our knees and rocked it side to side, higher and higher, and you laughed. And when we almost set it over the top, you screamed with laughter. You shrieked for joy. But you weren't laughing. No, I see that now. You were just screaming. Sorry. And this one the set is called Kimchi Hatchet. She shouldn't have trusted her townhome to She's got ants with white wings in her cabinets. Oh my God, she shrieks, staring at him from a loud print apron. You need a hug, he tells her, and opens his arms. She declines the embrace. You're not Jesus, no matter how much you want to be. Thank you.
Good job, ladies and gentlemen. It is early when my brother and I wake, say good morning to each other, run to the bathroom to brush our teeth, and hurry to the kitchen. Saturday mornings are always special. It means that there are glazed or exotic donuts on the table and the Super Friends cartoon come on at 9 a.m. But today is even more special because my mom is taking us to go see the new Superman movie starring Christopher Reeve. Man, what a day. Smiley, my brother, and I sit in front of our TV set, turn it on with the pliers, and wait for that familiar song to come on. This isn't a corny cartoon with a little dog and two kids with no powers, no. But it's the Justice League battling the Legion of Doom. How do they keep beating them every week when the Legion of Doom has 13 members and the Justice League only has 11? I will never understand that. Man, it's over already. Now the channel has changed to CBS and we watch the rest of Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show until 2:30 a.m. It is time to get excited again because the Batman Tarzan hour is coming on. Again, my brother rushes to the kitchen to retrieve the donuts, but there are not many left since my dad is awake now. Still, we each get 2 apiece and sit in front of the TV for another 90 minutes. It is not enough time for Batman because he is my favorite, but enough for cartoons. It is time to get ready for the movies. Woo-hoo! I'm home. Saw myself not reflected on the walls, but sitting in a tufted chair, staring blankly at a screen. Music was playing, but it was not any music I understood. I was surprised that I was bald, but even more surprised to see my hair in clumps all over the floor. I was wearing my grandmother's bathrobe, which barely covered my thighs. It was cold in the cave, but not as cold as it is sometimes in February. Picture of old photograph sat on the tray table to my left. I took a long drink. Someone shouted my name, but it was not my name. Even that didn't stop him from insisting it was. 2 old women leered at me from behind the door. I saw an eye look out from the mouse hole. Even the ceiling was blinking. I knew what I needed to do. I would have done it. If only I could recall what it was I needed to do. So I turned to the screen that was playing my song. Hey! It's playing my song. That was the cave. I'm really home. Some of you know this, some of you don't. Here we go. We're going to go back in time. Bill said, thank you very much. Bill said I was a storyteller. Who is pretty good at it. So this is one of the stories that's got recently playing. Every day, my mother would make 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches cut down the middle, an apple, a pear, some sort of fruit. She'd throw in a chocolate chip cookie and she'd give me 25 cents for chocolate milk. Now, I'm a 5th grader at Myra Bradwell Elementary School, and I don't know what love is. According to the Love Boat, love American style. Love is a good thing. And if that's the case, I love chocolate milk. It's the bestest thing ever. Every day at 12:05 p.m., myself and the rest of the 6th graders, we go downstairs and do what 6th graders do at lunchtime. We eat our lunch, or sometimes trade us in our bags, complain about all the homework we have, and look forward towards the weekend. And it was a good time. Until about 12:25. He comes. He is Eric. Eric the bully. And Eric's favorite thing to eat at lunchtime is whatever I look across at Eric sitting 2 rows over from me, and Eric gives me the universal sign that he's gonna beat me up at 3:15. At 3:10 p.m., when I look across at Eric sitting 2 rows over, he gives me the universal sign he's gonna beat me up at 3:15. But at 3:12 p.m., something strange occurs. When I look across at Eric sitting 2 rows over, I give him the sign that I'm gonna beat him up at 3:15. And this is strange because Eric has failed the 6th grade twice. He is bigger, stronger than the rest of us 6th graders, coming in at 6'2", 187 pounds. And he could easily beat me up. It's now 3:14:55. I pull my Batman backpack over my shoulders. I grab my Chicago Cubs baseball hat. Side note, my grandmother's favorite team was the Chicago Cubs. Not mine, she got me the hat. Back to the story. 3:14:56, 3:14:57. I look across at Eric one last time, and before the teacher can say class dismissed, out my chair, out the door, down 1 flight, 2 flights, 3 flights of stairs, and I've gotten away from the bully. And as I told you, Eric has failed the 6th grade twice. He's bigger, stronger, and faster than the rest of us 6th graders, and he's right behind me as we run down Saginaw towards 78th Street. We make a right. At the alley, I try to lose him again. We make a left. I make another left through Mrs. Johnson's yard to get away from him, and today of all days, her Doberman pincher is loose. Nearly escaping the dog over the other side of the fence, I have a thought. Maybe call it a prayer, and I say, Lord, please, could you let the dog eat Eric? But as I told you, Eric has failed the 6th grade twice. He's bigger, stronger, and faster than the rest of us 6th graders, and he might just be the best darn athlete in school. So he's over the fence, around the dog, over the fence, and he's right behind me. We run towards Saginaw where salvation waits. My mother is standing in front of our house, smiling and waving. Telepathically, I sent a message to my mother. Hey, Mom, help! Don't you see this monster that's failed the 6th grade twice? Who wants to beat me up because I didn't give him my chocolate milk that you gave me 25 cents for, chasing me. Mom, could you do something, please? My mom, the loving matriarch that she is, continues to smile and wave. Oblivious to my plight, I am on my own. And some things are on the south side of Chicago. The streets are decrepit. The sidewalks sometimes reflect that. That's the case on Saginaw, and it's rained for the last 4 days. So like a giant moat in front of me. To avoid getting anything on my school clothes, I run through the grass. Eric sees his opportunity to come behind me. He runs through the crevices, trips, falls, boom, splash! I keep running. I keep running. In situations like this, there are jackals disguised as other children. They never do anything, they never say anything. They never help, they never call for help. They just point and laugh at whoever they think is losing. Across the street, that is what they are doing. I'm still running. At some point I get to where I think I'm safe and I turn. And at that moment, Eric is rising from the water. Drenched, soaking, angry, seething. And we lock gazes. And we realize 2 things that day. Eric realizes that he will never again drink my chocolate milk. And I realize for that to be true, there will be some days I like to stand and fight and perhaps get beat up. And do like I did today and run from the bully. Thank you.
How great is that guy?
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm going to read a poem by G.P.A. This is called Under Blue Sky. On the porch at the back of the house, with faithful canine standing next, he stood, whether or not too cold for Chicago, especially with wearing jogging pants and t-shirt. He inhaled deeply the scent of life as the breeze walked past, saying hello. The beagle stretches, looks up to him, and heads down the steps to play. Indeed, it's the beginning of a beautiful day. smiles, watching his companion run around the yard, stretching. He emits a sigh, not of exasperation, but satisfaction. The door behind him opens, and she joins him, putting his arm around her waist. She draws closer. Their smiles are now twins. The breeze walks by again, as if the music for this scene and all of this plays out under a blue sky. G.P.A. This poem is called Ferdinand Gets Married. It's an allusion to the character of Ferdinand in Shakespeare's last play, The Tempest. Ferdinand is the prince and he marries a woman named Miranda. So in this poem, Ferdinand gets Mirandized. You have the right to remain angry, but anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to your own opinion. If you can't afford an opinion will be provided for you. You have the right to be happy. If you can't afford happiness, contentment may be made available. You have the right to consult your feelings, but your intelligence may not be present during questioning. Do you understand these rights? If you understand these rights, say, I do. This is called the empty bed. The middle of the heavy bed was empty. They were people who liked to sleep on edges and tug on covers. Each night enacted the tufted tussle of love and redacted the dreams of the day. Each night fleshed out the spooky skeleton of living together and amalgamated the twin incorporation of souls. But by day, the birds of prey were in control. All-born hawks and taunt harriers crisscrossed the kitchen and family room. Bright falcons nested in the cracks of the cathedral ceilings. Every closet had its owl. One day, an eagle crashed through the screen door. That scared away the buzzards. The craven mother got the shotgun, but the eagle fled with two of the children in its beak. This one is called Love and How It Gets That Way. You were the most beautiful girl in 3rd grade. My thoughts were restless escapades. My heart was roasted butter. I donned wax wings and flew toward the highest sky I could find. And then, among a score of others, to be invited to your party. We all stood on the lawn behind your house, most of us in wide striped tees, one of us in a bow tie, eyeing that thing in your backyard, that thing you pumped to spin around, and we all took turns. You on one side in a yellow dress, and one after the other of us on the other, and we spun you. And then that kid in the bow tie got on, got dizzy, and vomited. And you looked at him with disgust. And I felt like Adam's apple had just landed in my lap. This is called Dad and the Red Light. My father is 22 years old. He stopped at a light at Broad and Market. He sees a man in a tan jacket start to cross in front of him. All of a sudden, the man disappears. The light turns green. Confused, my father gets out of the car and walks to the front. A guy is face down on the ground, his head wedged in front of the passenger wheel. He selected my father as his agent of suicide. I've been held hostage by this story ever since I was told it when I was about 14 or so. My dad was trying to teach me the importance of checking things out. Then I saw all his life, wannabe suicides flip toward him like moths. He saved them all. And this is about one of the guys he saved, George. Skinny guy with glasses, sent to Vietnam, came back with an understanding of heroin an acquaintance with foolishness, a clarified wife, and a helmet on his soul. His family, alive but indifferent, he makes his way back to the ocean, back to the popcorn, back to the pinball machines, wants to see the boss who had treated him well. Hey, Bob, it's me, George. Kindness is magnetic, but the past is a loose adhesive, and rarely is employment a glue. How nice to see you, George. He hangs around for about an hour, then slinks back to the deserted battlefield he has had tattooed on his future. And this poem is called Bogdan. Dad was dying. Meanwhile, the blood from a puncture wound was drying on Bogdan's palm. He was a 10th grade messiah, famous for acts of attrition. I had solicited his help with a bully who had been threatening to beat me up for wearing a leather vest to school. He said he'd see what he could do. The next day, my tormentor was not in class. I went looking for my savior. He was loitering by the cafeteria tray return, eyeing the cruelty in passersby. I went up to him and asked for another favor. You only get one. I pondered that. This is a poem that's called Dead Parental Units. It's in 2 parts. Each death a sonnet, every grief 14 lines. Not yours. I refuse you this one thing. I sat next to you in the hospital, your mouth open on one side, your last breath escaped. I connect you with no other dead, or myself with the other weeping sons. I am only this son, holding his father's dead hand, watching his father's dead mouth. I will not write you sonnets. Sonnets are boxes, spaces for pain, graves to lie in. Enough of graves. I save for myself your raw last line. Another death. Another sonnet. Every grief 14 fucking lines. Not yours. I stood next to you in my sister's house. The family huddled around like reporters at a tornado. Terrified, we watched you drown. At dawn, they wheeled you out. Yes, mothers died and sons are sad, but I am not one of the many. I am one of the few who will not write you sonnets. I'm sorry. Maybe that would have given you what? Solace? Satisfaction? Sonnets are boxes. I mean coffins. Want me to build you a coffin? How many coffins do you need?
Sonnets are coffins. I like that. Some relatives and friends have omnivision or spectrovision, while we still have regular television. It's cool because Channel 7 has the two best shows on Saturday night, Love Boat and Fantasy Island. Love Boat is funny because it has famous people on this boat looking for love. These people don't look like they need help getting boyfriends and girlfriends, but it's easy to watch and not violent. Usually, it's good to see some of the women in bikinis. Farrah Fawcett is my favorite. But the real treat is watching Fantasy Island. The show has the main man, Mr. Rourke, and his pal Tattoo, and they have guests come on who have fantasies they want to come true. This episode has a woman who sold her soul to the devil to help her husband who was ill. And the devil shows up. Mr. Rourke keeps calling him some name with an M in front of it. Mephistopheles, I think it is. My brother and I say at the same time loudly, what the heck is the devil doing on Fantasy Island? This outburst brings our dad to our room asking what is going on. Of course, we tell him nothing, but we ask him to watch the rest of the show with us, and he does. The funny thing about watching TV with our dad is that he talks through the program and loudly. Still, We are glad he is here because we are scared. And of course, Mr. Rourke defeats the devil. Carol Ann from Poltergeist fame found herself upon the Emerald Brick Road, walking in some direction, trying to find herself towards the light. Instead, she found me. A combination of the Jabberwocky and the Loch Ness Monster blocking her way. And she queried, "How do I pass thee?" And I said, "There is no passage." She said, "Can I go over the top of you?" I said, "No, because my beloved Theodora's flying monkeys will surely devour you in the air." She said, "What recourse do I have then? Who are you to keep me from passing and getting to the light?" And I answered, "I'm the monster under the bed. I'm the boogeyman hiding in the closet, except when you come with your friends to verify my existence, I am not there. But when you come back to retrieve your coat or your jacket, I'm the one handing it to you, fangs hanging from my mouth, saliva dripping from them, because I'm ravenous and I wish to devour you. I'm Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Pennywise, and Pinhead, and no matter how many times you think you kill me or vanquish me, I come right back as soon as they create another sequel. I'm Lex Luthor, Sinestro, Dr. Doom, Roger Gorilla, Simon Bar Sinister, and Rip Rap, and the respective superheroes that engaged in the battle. This clearly illustrates the perpetuality of good versus evil. I am the proverbial fly in the ointment who shows up at the picnic, and no matter how many times you swat at me, I don't go anywhere. I do tap dances in the cold slap. I do backstrokes in the potato slap. And just as you're getting ready to put that rib in your mouth, I am dangling from the fork. And these are the metaphors of permanence to show you what I truly am. I am the anger and resentment of Beelzebub, who sits in the middle of hell with his finger extended towards heaven, still angry centuries later after being cast out. And I am the resignation and the disappointment of the Almighty himself, for he realized when he created Lucifer, he would have no recourse but to do so. I'm the bully, the bullied, and the bullied who finally stood up to the bully. I am the rumor. I am the one who spread it. I'm the people that misshaped it and passed it, and I'm the person who the rumor is about who finally stands up and says, "No, that part is not true." These are the metaphors of permanence to show you what I truly am. And I confess to you all that I am an addict. But there are no pipes, there are no blunts, there are no needles, there are no bottles, no. There is simply me sniffing blue, red, and black ink every single night, cramping my fingers up with carpal tunnel, typing on that frickin' laptop, getting 10 poems off my head to make room for the next 10 poems and the next 10 poems. And if you multiply that by 10,000 poems, that's how many poems are on my cerebellum and cerebral cortex. There is me using social network to aid in that game. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. There is me. And I receive an invitation in the mail and I have no clue how I got it.
Okay, this is called whiplash marriage. A wrench flies through the air and cracks your windshield. It's the unexpected that makes life so smashing. Like walking along a lake and seeing apes come out of the water. Like talking to a physician about the half-life of hope. Like waking up to the sound of pleading. There are many ways to begin to die, but one is not surprise. We all have an aging relative who offers in his handshake the strength he still pretends. Mine was married to a petty woman of endemic energy. They sired your most obnoxious cousins. I wish I had a mirror implanted in my brain so that I could see my life less directly than I do. I had a dream that daylight needed repainting. I called my uncle in Kentucky. He said he'd take care of it, but then he died when his car T-boned a dove. called Antigone Daytime. I'm that age, I guess. People keep asking me what I want for my funeral. I don't give a shit. Let the dogs lick my bones. Throw my ashes out the window. If I die in autumn, rake the orange leaves over my arms. Sure, put my clavicle on the mantle. Feel free to laminate my lungs. Toss my heart off the dock. Use me if you run out of dark molasses or caulk. Make origami, or a caftan, or wicker furniture, or a Reiku pot of me. Tan my hide. Feed me to rabid macaques. Dissolve me in nitric acid. Water the garden of my face. Give Achilles free rein to drag me through the mud. It's okay, really. Don't feel guilty. I, Priam, absolve you. So they asked his wife and daughters and sons what they wanted for their father. And they said, just bury him. He said he wanted us to be happy. It's called Bone Density. It has a reference to a group of artists who were known as the Wild Beasts, the Fauves, F-A-U-V-E-S. And this is what that's something this poem. The Fauves are visiting. Come to redesign the patio. They have upstaged the heart. They have brought with them their own music and solemn gondoliers. Madame Fauve with a twisted braid is dancing. So is the decadence in the wall. I applaud the thoroughness of the measurers, but cannot sanction their pervasiveness. The Fauves must leave. Stat! I have an appointment with deadness at 3 a.m. They say they understand, but I sense they don't. I have offended the sorcery of art. Art. Liquidity. On the bulkhead on the horizon, clouds collect, indifferently, like restaurant fish. So this one's called Raymond Chandler and his wife. One day it was boring to be alive. The magic had vanished in a mist of dead wives. The smoke of death's cigarette alone had survived. His dying grew bitter and smoked in his eyes. She was as gentle as a slug of sweet wine, as loving as the milky handshake of the blind, as knowing as the balding barker at the fair. The sinks and the drains now hold her hair. They found him drunk on the tile, his clothes in a pile, his gun by his mouth in a kiss, his body listless as artifice. 2 bullets made a gaping wound in the ceiling of the bathroom. It is the autumn of my fear of being alive and alone. My wife, who was my candle, is now death's discolored bone. I, who wrote 6 novels, am a soft, unpublished moan. When he woke, he screamed for Mom and checked into a sanitarium. When he saw what it was about, he changed his mind and just walked out. Arriving home, he renewed his lease, fed his cat, and thanked the police. Every day, it was boring to be alive. The solace had vanished in the hiss of the mind. The smoke of death's bourbon alone had survived. His thoughts shrunk to rubble and stoked his demise. And this one is called One Sick, Two Sick, Red Sick, Blue Sick. I found a diseased fish wedged between some boulders near the pier. I pulled it out, its left white eye well beyond compassion, its shrunken shank nolo contendere. I held it in my hands as if it were a gift from a maniac. With a delicate knife, I cut it in half. I lifted the skin. I peeled it back. I peered under, and all was sarcoma, melanoma, carcinoma, sarcomas, melanomas, carcinomas. I dropped it. It bubbled stubbornly among the rocks. Sorry. I'm going to finish with this poem, which is called "There's No Crying in Poetry."
Right. Hell yeah.
There's no crying in poetry. There's no crying in poetry, says Coach Bukowski, Wonderful Gnarl, stopping on the ground behind third base. But the poetry pitcher is crying. The poetry catcher is sobbing. The poetry shortstop is bawling. The poetry center fielder is doubled over, weeping bitterly. Bukowski shakes his head. Jesus, how the hell did I wind up here? He yells, hey, there's no crying in fucking poetry. You hear me? But no one on the poetry team is listening. But in the beer garden across the street, the bar poets wearing gloves are looking up. At the ball, sailing toward them, they raise their hands above their heads and call out, I got it! No, I got it! I said I got it! And then they collide, and they lie like kinks in a tangled hose. The ball lands and takes a bad hop, hits the barmaid smack on the lip. Don't you cry. Don't you dare, she hears Bukowski saying. And though it really hurts, and though she really wants to, she doesn't.
That's around, fill it to the top. Fucking do it, y'all. Okay. Death is certain. My love exceeds eternity. If reincarnation be a possibility, then let me die 1,000 times. So that in each one of them, I can love you over and over again. For my love is everlasting, my home. She asked me, what is it? As I handed her the envelope with the letter I neatly folded 2 times the night before. Maria, my 5th grade love, asked me, what is it? What it is was everything that I felt. Circle forward, less than 24 hours, exactly 11:05 p.m. Past my bedtime by an hour, okay, 30 minutes, because Thursday nights going into the weekend, my dad always let me stay up so we could watch one of our favorite shows, Benny Hill. And so I was up and he had checked on me for the last night. Bobo, are you almost done? Yes, Father. Do you need me to read your letter one more time? No, Dad, it's perfect. And I folded it and was getting ready to place it in the envelope until I remembered one detail that needed attending to. So I walked to my dresser and pulled the bottle of gray flannel. My dad always gave me the remnants of his cologne bottles, and gray flannel was class. So I held the letter away from me and I sprayed, catching it in the air just enough. I took a whiff, folded it back up on its creases, put it in the envelope, sealed it, and put it inside my Batman book bag. And I got ready for bed, but stopped myself and I got on my knees in prayer. I said, dear Lord, thank you for watching over us this day, watching over our house, watch over us while we sleep. And oh Lord, yeah, one more thing. Tomorrow, when I give Maria this letter, could you please have her say yes to being my girlfriend? I would really appreciate it, Lord. Amen. See, that was what was in the letter. It read, dear Maria, I like you. I like you a whole lot. You should be my girlfriend. I will be the best boyfriend ever. I will never, ever, ever hurt you, and I always share my chocolate milk, which is my favorite. I love the way you wear your hair in pigtails. I love the way you wear your hair down. I love the way you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Wait, I said love, but I meant like you a lot because we're only in the 5th grade. Signed, me. P.S. Circle yes or no. My dad said maybe it's for cowards. P.P.S. When you say yes, we're going to go have a chocolate shake. I went to sleep confident after having sprayed the gray flannel on my letter that it would do its job. I woke up the next morning excited, jumped out of bed, ran to the shower, turned on my transistor radio, tell I'm dating myself. Transistor radio. Turned it on to 94.7 and one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists, Rod Stewart, came on. If You Think I'm Sexy. And I'm in the shower dancing, singing. Real, don't you think I'm sexy? Singing loudly. Till the knock on the door, my mother says, hey, Bobo, breakfast, hurry up. So I finished up, went to the breakfast table. My brother's ripping me. Bobo's got a girlfriend. Bobo's got a girlfriend. And Dad tells him to stop. Says that he will walk me to school that day. And this is a big deal because my dad works, just about every day, 5 days out the week. And so he takes his days off very seriously. So for him to take time out to get up and walk me to school, he must have imparted some great fatherly advice on how to be a great boyfriend. I was excited. So my mom usually walks me. I'm a mama's boy, don't you know? Bless you. Thank you. So, my mom, bless you again. My dad walked me, he's carrying my book bag, and he says, Bobo, I want you to remember something. So one time, next time I'll throw you out. He says, Bobo, I want you to be calm and cool. Give her a letter, tell her thank you for reading it, and no matter how it goes, you were courageous enough to ask her. Go with it. I said, Dad, I wrote a great letter. I sprayed some great flannel on it. I got my brand new Nikes on, my Levi's, and my shirt with the little alligator on it. I got this. I got this. She's gonna say yes, and we're gonna have a chocolate shake. You gotta go with us. She shakes my hand because we're out in public. Shake each other's hand. Says, have a good day, son. And I go in. I've already planned when I'm going to give Maria the letter. I didn't want to do it early in the day because I had to wait all day, like torture, for her to say yes. I didn't want to give it till lunchtime because I was having a little trouble with this guy named Eric at the time. And I didn't want him to get the letter and read it and embarrass Maria, so she had to say no. So I didn't want that to happen. So I waited in the period after gym and right before class dismissed for school. I would give it to her. And I know it's cliche, but it took forever to get to gym class. The clock just dragged. But finally it did. And we were playing dodgeball. I was one of the best dodgeball players in class. I mean, I was really good on my feet. And Maria was on my team. And I was like, I get the chance to show her, not only am I going to be a good boyfriend, I'm the best dodgeball player there is. And she liked me for that. The other team's only down to a couple plays left. We got most of ours. The ball comes screaming at Maria, who's to my left. I take 3 steps, jump, run, catch it. That guy's out. Get up, fire it off, hit the other guy. Our team wins. Everybody's cheering, and Maria's like, that was really great. And I say, yeah, that's right, baby. You need to get used to this. I said that in my head, not out loud. Class was dismissed from gym and we headed back. Maria never had to go to the bathroom. I always thought something was strange. She never had to go. I always had to go. So I went, did my business, washed my hands, came running out to the bathroom. Teacher said, Mr. Gordon, slow down. Yes, Mrs. Green. Okay. I spare walked to the classroom. I pulled the letter out of my pocket, handed it to Maria. And that's when she said, what is this? And I said, it's a letter. And she said, who's it from? Which I thought was a dumbass question considering I was the one handing it to her. But it was Maria, so I just let it go. I said, okay. It's from me. She said, oh, thank you. She smiles and I go over the other side of the classroom. I pull out my Batman comic book. I'm a Batman guy. And I'm reading, but I'm not really. I'm looking over the top of my comic book, watching her read. And then at some point, she looks up, and I look up, and I'm like, oh, shit. And I keep reading, and then the bell rings for school to be over. Put my comic book in my book bag over my shoulder. And before I can leave, Maria's there, arm extended with the letter in her hand, smiling. I got it. I pulled it off. I took the envelope. I said, I'll see you outside. She said, bye. She went with some friends laughing off. I said, yes. I went outside the classroom thinking she was waiting there. She wasn't there. I said, okay, no, she probably went outside school and was waiting. I went down the 3 flights of stairs where we were and went outside and she wasn't there. I said, she's probably just talking around the corner, so I'm no big deal. I'm gonna read and see. And she said, yes. So I opened up the letter, started reading. I said, gee, Miss Linder, my language arts teacher would be really proud of me. There are no wrong sentences, no comma splices. Everything is perfect in this letter. And I read it all the way to the bottom and it said no. I took my glasses off, I cleaned them. I read it again, this time faster. The no was still there. 20 more times I read the letter until the ink started to run. It was still no. I don't know how long I stood there by the fire hydrant reading this letter. A very strong voice said, Bobo! Without looking up, I knew it was my dad. I looked up finally and saw him. Saw the tears running down my face. He said, son. I said, mom. I said, dad. She said, no. Dad, she said, no. She said, no, Dad. She said, no. He took the letter, picked up the envelope off the ground. The letter in the envelope, grabbed my Batman book bag, the envelope inside the bag. It seemed like all he did this in one motion, wiped my face with his handkerchief, put the handkerchief back in. He said, son, it's all right. She said, no. You asked her. Now you know what to do. So let's go have a chocolate shake. Thank you. I asked her to just give me 15 minutes. That's all I ask. I said, give me 1 minute to tell you hello, tell you how good it is to see you. Give me 2 minutes to wrap you in an embrace and just let us exist there. Give me another 2 minutes to allow my nostrils to inhale your wonderful scent, my eyes to travel your physical landscape, my fingers to touch your face and your hair. And give me 1 minute to tell you how absolutely gorgeous you look and how much I miss you. Give me 1 minute to kiss your lips lightly, another minute to kiss your lips fully. Give me 1 minute to kiss you and take your breath away. Then give me another minute to follow behind that to kiss you and give you that breath back. And give me 30 seconds to allow my comprehension to catch up. And then give me another 30 seconds to stare into your soul and be reciprocated. Then grab me another 2 minutes, but this time embrace you so closely that no air exists between our physical forms and allow our tongues to interact in salsa. Then grab me another minute that we do absolutely nothing except hold hands and look at God's skies. Then grab me one final minute, unfortunately, to tell you how much I enjoyed this time we spent together and how I cannot wait to see you, hold you, and kiss you again. So just give me 15 minutes. That's all I ask. Then, if we're standing outside your place of employment, you have good benefits. I don't want you to lose your job. Go back to work. My city that I love dearly gets kind of cold. Please, go inside where it's warm. And if your phone continues to ring, if it continues to hum, and if you must, if you truly must, then you can go back to him. Just give me 15 minutes. That's all I ask. Thank y'all. Somebody's gotta get it. This is classic.